Welcome back into 7 Rivers Racing here on KQEG TV. I'm Dan Dyke along with Al Losi as we get into the three-quarter portion of the race seasons at the Crosse Speedway, Mississippi Thunder Speedway. Pretty much every racetrack around is getting towards the area of this, what a lot of fans like to watch are the point races. Even NASCAR now getting into the chase here soon enough. And this is the time of the year, and our guest brought up a nice fact here a little while ago that some drivers, maybe not necessarily Crosse, but some other tracks that know they're not in contention for a championship, start to travel a little bit, start compiling a little money for these late race season huge races like Oktoberfest and USMTS and BMOD challenges and whatnot.
Yeah, and $10,000 to win at some of these tracks. What it does is it really gives you a leg up for next year. It kind of can help pay for a lot of the things you want to do during the off season, because really the off season is the most expensive part of a race team.
And it's also a chance, and I'm going to put Al under the gun here for a minute, it's also going to be a chance like Major League Baseball. This is the time of the year when you start sitting some of the veterans, some of those that maybe have been injured for a while, and you start bringing up the folks from AAA. It sounds like your camp, the Rivers Racing camp, is going to bring up a AAA-er as well. Actually, he's coming from Class A.
Yeah, Class A. Yeah, normally this weekend, we always annually take this weekend off because of the number of anniversaries and birthdays this week with the family and the crew. Well, Albert's taken off, and that was a foregone conclusion. My wife and I were going to take off. After that crash that happened at La Crosse, we're sitting there thinking, well, you know, we probably might want to think about getting the car out there. And the first person to come to mind is our younger son, Brian. He's won championships in the go-kart series. He travels around the Midwest, and he wins pretty much everywhere he goes. So we thought we would get him out there for practice. Remember, practice is tonight. And what you would want to do is, what we're going to do is put some old tires on there, get him used to it, let him get his feet wet in the late models, let him run around in the back a little bit, and get used to it.
Here we go with our recap from Saturday night and talking about crashing. Man, did we have a couple of big ones out there. Probably the largest late model crash I've seen since I've been in this area. And of course, you'd have to go back to first lap of Oktoberfest last year to watch the big one where we took out 10 cars. But here we go at another fight to the finish. 2 weeks ago, it came down to 3 cars fighting for the white stripe. This weekend, we had 2, and you're going to watch the recap here in just a moment, that Sean Paff and Steve Carlson, 2 former track champions, went door to door, and this thing went on for about 15 laps right to the very end.
Yeah, the 2 of them are the 2 that were pretty much left on the track there after the crash and able to really have their own battle. They were able to get through some lap traffic really well. They were having fun. I think Sean wishes he could do this every week on races like this.
Well, Sean said he knew he was back for the entire time. I talked to Steve, of course. Right there is when I thought Steve had him set up, because he's a king of the outside. And Sean said he was just getting more bite as the race had gone on. And this is the last 2 corners right here. One last dash to the white stripe, and Sean Paff held off the king of the short track, Steve Carlson. And Paff taking some time off to spend some family time this year, and came out and got himself a feature win. Now, we're going to back things up a little bit. This would have been lap 7 of the late model feature. And this one got kind of interesting. It happened on the far side of the track.
Right.
So it's hard for me to really see. It looked as though that Matt Engel at one point had just gotten loose, but I'd heard that there was some contact after the race. And unfortunately, this is what you're going to see just when Billy Doc Niles started to open things up.
Yeah, and it was really tough because at that point in the track, you're accelerating off of turn 2, and everybody is on the gas. So the only way to miss a wreck like this is just to be in a lucky spot at a lucky time.
There's the contact with Wagner and Engelett, who's just been doing a nice job in that rookie season this year. We collected Jay Herbst, Brent Kirshner. You see Adam Degenhart getting tagged hard right there, Matt Henderson, and Brad Powell. Of course, you look at the point standings, that was probably the top 5 or 6 beyond Steve Carlson and Sean Paff as we slow it down from turn 1 more time.
Yeah, Albert said he was accelerating off the corner really hard, and all he saw staring at him was Ryan Powell's car, the side of it.
And it's tough, you know, I mean, I'm not a driver, but I've been doing this long enough that when you get into an instance, especially out of a corner, because the first thing you're doing is you're accelerating, and we're going to talk to our guest about this as well a little bit. that you look forward and all you see are cars wrecking, but people say, well, he drove into so-and-so, or he didn't try to avoid this. Well, number one, that's just dumb to say you didn't try to avoid it.
No.
But when you have cars, and Degenhardt's a perfect example. Degenhardt was coming down and got hit by a car coming down. You don't know where to go.
No, you don't. And what's tough is that whole track was clogged. There really was nowhere to go unless
grass is it.
The grass was about it, and there was a few that had to use it.
Right.
And there's just no way. You can't stay up on the track for something like that. And cars were just piling into each other, and that's one of those things. It was an accident that happened, you know, and just those things happen in racing.
Well, hopefully, we wish good luck to all 8 drivers. They all did crawl out of the cars, which was phenomenal to announce. But going to be some tough weeks ahead here for some of these drivers getting into the latter part of the season. And we hope we can get them back out there in the next couple of weeks. Point standings, Steve Carlson, well, that crash there, I'm not going to call the track championship, but Jay Herbst obviously couldn't come back and finish that race. And Steve got a whole boatload of points right there. So it looks like Carlson may be in the last leg running of the championship. Real quick, let's go to the Sportsman, where Greg Scheck, he and Jamie Dummer went back and forth for quite a while in the Exhaust Plus Sportsman feature. And this was a dandy. It took Scheck a couple of laps to get to the outside. He and Billy Martin both said they had the outside working for them. But Greg Scheck, he hooked up and was gone after he got past Dummer.
Yeah, there again, you've got a veteran out there who knows the track, knows how to get around people. And the cars did kind of string out for some reason during this race.
A lot of single-file racing we had right there. Of course, your challenge, Jimmy Crackhorn-Gilster was coming on, and we saw some adjustments here as well as we had a crash we're going to show you here earlier in the race. Your point leaders were ended up front again, and that's what's going to make this series interesting all the way to Oktoberfest, is Steve Bachman and the way Jake Arneson have been running. Bachman was really putting it on right there to get a last charge for a second-place finish Saturday night. So Scheck gets the win. Point standings, this thing's really starting to get close. Jake Arneson now only has a 15-point lead over Steve Bachman. 18, well, if I can actually read my sheet, 25 back is now Greg Scheck. Before we take a break, we're going to show you that crash that happened right there. This was Jake Arneson and the 09 Nick Clements, he's been getting quicker behind the wheel of the Sportsman right here. This was just unfortunate. Yeah,
this is very unfortunate. They both took different lines into the corner, and unfortunately, he ended up taking the brunt of the accident. And if you watch this thing where I was announcing at, you looked like as though we've seen this happen, and it was reminiscent to Ken Lewis years ago. Right. Who out of Black River Falls went straight up into that wall doing 60, 70, 80 mile per hour. It looked like Clements was going to do the same exact thing. You saw the brakes go straight up, but right at the last second, you could see he did get a chance to turn, and that's why he just took out that entire side instead of front on. So Nick came out of his car as well. And it's still a teeth rattler. Oh, it was. You could almost feel that one all the way up in the broadcast booth. When we come back, we're going to recap the rest of Saturday night from La Crosse. We've got some great stuff on Mississippi Thunder coming up, and our guest is going from dirt to asphalt all over the place. We're going to bring him in as well as part of 7 Rivers Racing here in KQEG TV.
When you're all out of good ideas and you've moved on to the dumb ones, it's time. American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning, a higher standard of comfort.
May I take your order?
Be not defeated by indecision. Choose the path that leads to a better day. Choose the way of the meal.
Make it a meal with one of Cousin Sub's new pork subs, the Memphis steak or the Cubano for a limited time only.
The key to happiness is sharing.
Oh. Cousin Subs. Better bread, better subs, better day.
Did you know that the Holman American Legion is open to the public? That's right, 7 days a week you can enjoy the full-service bar while watching your favorite sports team or NASCAR driver. You don't need to be a member to enjoy the Holman American Legion's rotating lunch special every Tuesday for only $6. A banquet hall with seating up to 250 people is also available for weddings, birthdays, or any other special event. See you at the Holman American Legion, 419 First Avenue West in Holman.
Get ready for the Thunder! The Mississippi Thunder Speedway.
Your Friday night racing destination.
Racing starts in 7. Super stocks.
Modified.
600 mods.
Pure stocks.
Street stocks.
Viva.
It's racing excitement, dirt track style.
Tickets $12 for adults.
$5 18 and under.
$8 for students. Or our family pack.
$25 for 2 adults and 3 kids 18 and under.
Friday night racing starts at 7.
Bring on the Thunder!
Dirt track style at the Mississippi Thunder Speedway. Highway 35 just north of Fountain City.
We're back. Rivers Racing, KQEG TV. Dan Dyker, LOC, along with you, recapping what happened at La Crosse Speedway Saturday night. We're going to jump right into the Thunder stocks, where Adam Moore has pretty much had that yellow 29 all over the racetrack this year. And he's still got some drivers that are in contention running behind him. And this one got kind of interesting. Here was some 3 and 4 wide racing. And good to see Dustin Bagstad back again.
Yeah, Dustin does a good job out there, level-headed kid. And like you said, he's out there now again and just enjoying the racing.
Well, Jordan Myers did what he needed to do, but he had the man he's chasing right behind him to finish this race. He gets the feature win. Adam Moore finished right behind, as did Jason Bolster. And the points race here, very interesting. Adam Moore continues to lead, but right behind him, Jordan Myers only 10 back. Jason Bolster is 18 back, and Brad Worthen still has a shot, as he is 27 points back heading into the final weeks of La Crosse racing. Figure eights came out, and we only had 12 of them this past weekend, and we saw some crunching and some smashing going on.
Yep.
And John Clausen in the K9 found his way through the bobbing and the weaving.
Wow.
And got himself a feature win right here. This was a very interesting race with some of the smashing we saw going on.
Oof. It is just such tight racing out there. Up there in the booth, can you see how close they come?
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty much over the far tire that you see in the monitor right there where the truck's going around right now. So that's probably the closest I have to watch how close some of these guys get. And we're going to bring our guest in here in a moment, because he's been doing this for quite a while on figure eight racing. And getting through all that, it got a little bit squirrely from times, but John Clausen did hold on and get himself the feature win. And point standings, Jason Bolster, now our figure eight points leader. Larry Hollitz, the Gray Ghost, in the 50-50 is only 4 points back. Brad Worthen is 14 back. So we go from the Crosse Speedway to the Mississippi Thunder Speedway. On Friday night, Doug Whitecheck picked up his, interestingly enough, 6th straight feature win. He's got 8 of them on the season. Did that in the street stocks. He's going to try to nail down a championship. Josh Angst, a former track champion, nailed down the modified USRA champion feature on Friday night. Chadney Sanders got himself his first 2013 feature win of the season. Jacob Blees, Bob Cizeski, Eric Duhlman, and Matt LeDuc, along with Jackson Hale, also got some big wins. Now, the race coming up Friday night is the USMTS Hunt Race. It's the second of, I think, 8 legs at the Mississippi Thunder Speedway. Matter of fact, we're going to show you some video of what it looked like last weekend. There are about 100 drivers that are involved in these races right here. This was at the I-80 Speedway. Wow. We do have some local drivers that are involved here, and you want to talk about some horsepower. These are the top dogs.
Oh, there's just a ton of horsepower and very little weight on these cars. These cars are just built for maximum speed, maximum acceleration, too, off those corners.
We look at the point standings. Johnny Scott leads things off, and then some familiar names to these parts. It's been at the Mississippi Thunder Speedway in Fountain City. Stormy Scott is 2nd. Rodney Sanders 4th. Kelly Shryock, former national champion, is 6th. Lucas Schott from the Mississippi Thunder Speedway, currently 11th, and Ryan Gustin sits 16th. Now, this is going to be a huge race. It is only the second leg, which means that a lot of the drivers that are still in this hunt for the Casey's Cup are still in the championship run. So the car counts are still going to be better than, say, maybe the 5th or 6th leg.
Yes, and, you know, I know that this is one of your favorite forms of racing, and for a good reason. The excitement, the close racing. When these guys come off the corner, they're sliding. They don't know if they're going to slide up into someone.
Slideways.
Yeah, as you say. And that's a good term for this. But these guys slide right up underneath each other. There's just such close racing, and for a good reason. I mean, that's exciting stuff.
3, 4, 5 wide racing. Again, that's going to be coming up Friday night at Mississippi Thunder. So we want to bring our guest in. He just has done some dirt racing. So the dirt and the asphalt, he got kind of confused which way to go where. And we want to bring him in. John Radtke, our guest on the program. He runs a Hornet, the very familiar 7R at the La Crosse Speedway. And at Toma this year, he's got 4 others in the camp this year. Good to have you on.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, we've got 4 different cars this year.
I'm going to kind of take you back a little bit because I know you kind of got reminiscent off that video right there.
Yeah.
When we talk slideaways, that's a term that you're used to hearing running on dirt more than asphalt to start things.
Yeah, when I got back into it, was running on the dirt and was down in Decorah, and it's a great track, and just you come into the corners and you just whip the butt out and just let her go and hang on, and it was fun. It's a lot of fun, and there's a lot of strategy to it. You know, everybody thinks it's just the car's out of control. No, you want that car doing that.
And it's interesting because my first year of covering races in Fountain City, they still had the Hornet class, and of course the past years they haven't. And you watch, to me, I think it would be harder to be on a dirt track in a Honda like what you have rather than an A modified.
It is, but it isn't. You know, their power is coming from the back end, and so they're making that power and it's pushing them. Where with the Hondas, the power's in the front end. You flip the back end out and you put the power on, it'll pull you through the corner, and it just corrects you right back up, and it sends you down the straightaway. We can get some really wicked speed going.
Now, of course, Decorah is a track I still haven't been to since I've been out here, but I'd really like to try to get out there one of these years. Give us the parameters of that track.
Basically, it's a 3/8 mile track with slight banking. They've got some banking both ends in the corners. A tall wall in 1 and 2. So when you're going into the corners, you go in and you see nothing but brick wall. And when you come out in 3 and 4, it's open bank, and all you see is fence on the back side of it.
And of course, now you transitioned over from the dirt track to asphalt somewhat last year, almost full-time this year.
Correct. Last year I was running a half season in Decorah and a half season other tracks. I went a few times to La Crosse, went in a couple other various tracks. And then this year now I transitioned to all asphalt for myself.
John Radtke is going to join us when we come back for our third segment. Has, what did you say, 4 cars now in the camp?
4 cars.
Wow. 4 cars in the camp. We're going to let you know where they're running at, why they've got somebody out there, and his enjoyment of getting back. And you notice he said when he got back into racing, we're going to talk about what maybe got him out and what got those juices flowing to get him back inside of a stock car here in western Wisconsin. John Radtke, our guest on the program. I'm Dan Dyker. We'll be back one more time with Rivers Racing here on KQEG TV.
Did you know that the Holman American Legion is open to the public? That's right. 7 days a week, you can enjoy the full-service bar while watching your favorite sports team or NASCAR driver. You don't need to be a member to enjoy the Holman American Legion's rotating lunch special every Tuesday for only $6. A banquet hall with seating up to 250 people is also available for weddings, birthdays, or any other special event. See you at the Holman American Legion, 419 First Avenue West in Holman.
Get ready for the Thunder! The Mississippi Thunder Speedway.
Your Friday night racing destination.
Racing starts at 7. Super stocks.
Modified.
600 mods.
Pure stocks.
Street stocks.
Viva.
It's racing excitement, dirt track style.
Tickets $12 for adults. $5 18 and under. $8 for students. Or our family pack.
$25 for 2 adults and 3 kids 18 and under.
Friday night racing starts at 7.
Bring on the Thunder!
Dirt track style at the Mississippi Thunder Speedway. Highway 35 just north of Fountain City.
May I take your order?
Be not defeated by indecision. Choose the path that leads to a better day. Choose the way of the meal.
Make it a meal with one of Cousin Sub's new pork subs, the Memphis steak, or the Cubano for a limited time only.
The key to happiness is sharing.
No.
Cousin Subs. Better bread, better subs, better day.
We're back one more time. Rivers Racing here at KQEG TV. LOC Dan Dyker along with John Radtke, our guest in the studio today. John, burning up the pavement and the dirt throughout western Wisconsin and eastern, well, that would be, eastern Iowa, I guess you could say.
Yeah, and down in Decorah and tried it out a couple of times in West Union too.
So you were saying during the second segment there that when you got back into racing is when you started hitting Decorah. How long of a time did you take off, and what got you interested in getting back in again?
Well, I had, I don't know, better than 20 years off. I scared myself out of a car. Had a pretty bad accident, and took some time off, just working on cars. Then a lot of my friends had Hornet cars, brought them to the shop, and we'd all work on them. And Steve Dwyer, he was the one. He told me, just jump in it, take it for a spin. I was hooked all over again. And actually bought the car that day from him.
Oh, wow.
And he had a backup car, and he ran his backup car, I ran his main car. Off we went. I was pretty slow to start with, but you know, I thought I was fast, but it didn't take long. I got my wheels back under me.
So now this year you came out, La Crosse Speedway and Hornet class. Were you surprised you won the very first feature?
Yes. So were a lot of other people, from what I hear.
Yeah, they were. I had a bunch of people asking me after the race, who is that guy? Where is he from?
You know, it was funny. I came out there, and that race, I mean, it was a great race. It was pretty clean. And I had a couple opportunities that it was just a good shot, and it felt good, and everything clicked.
And of course, now, so you've done a lot of lacrosse, you use the action track. Now, you've been to Oktoberfest in the past, though.
Yes, I raced last year for Oktoberfest. The Radtke racing team is going to be at Oktoberfest this year, more than one car.
I was going to say, when you said team, you didn't say you didn't say you said team.
No, we actually have, right now, we have 4 different cars. We have 3 main ones that we run, and then we have a figure 8 car. John Lejeune, he drives my 73R car. I drive the main 7R car. And then we have a backup car that every once in a while, I've got a friend, Robbie, he likes to just try it, and he'll jump in behind the wheel and away he'll go. But we are down right now. That one's parked. 3 weeks ago in Toma, during the heat race, Lonnie Wood Jr. got turned in first corner, and I T-boned him.
Ouch.
And yeah, we moved the front end around on the original 7R car.
Now, talking about Toma, you've been racing quite a bit at Toma this year. It looks like they're going to get a full season underway there. And you've had some ups and downs there. And now what you brought with us, I'll let Al get into, because he's more under the hood than I will ever be. So when you brought that in, I knew he knew exactly what it was right off the bat.
Yeah, well, those, you don't want to, this actually is not how it's supposed to look.
No.
Why don't you put her together a little bit?
Yeah, this is actually, it's supposed to, when it's in the motor going up and down at a high rate of speed, it's supposed to look kind of like that.
Yes.
And I got to set the stage for this, though.
All right.
Okay, and we had, 2 weeks ago, they had a Gladiator run out there.
Right.
And was running the first leg of it, 50 laps. Saw it was getting hot. Well, 5 laps to go, you're going to push it. And I pushed it. It got hot. We got her cooled down. Said, that's enough. Everything was fine. Thought. Went out the next night to race in Toma, normal races. Blew the head gasket. Put the head gasket in. Got her back together. Didn't really check the bottom end. And had a little bit of a rattle. Yeah. Thought we had a clutch problem.
Right.
It wasn't. So this last week, we were out Friday night, ran a normal race, and ended up winning heat and feature with this rattle. Got out there Saturday for the play, 500 to win, and, well, in the last hot lap session, decelerated coming off of a 5-lap run, let the monkeys out of the motor.
Ouch.
Ouch.
Right out the front.
And what people need to realize is when they're talking RPMs, this thing is what's going up and down, whether it's 200 RPMs or 3,400 RPMs. That's going per minute. So this sucker is flying faster than the eye can see.
And obviously underneath that, if you can show that to the camera, those are not supposed to be black.
No. That's what happens when you spin the bearing and you get a lack of oil. It gets really dark. One of the other things, you were saying 3,500 RPM. Well, that's maybe for with the late models and sportsmen. This was going, when I come out of turn 4, when I decelerated, it was going 6,800 RPM.
Yeah.
Hondas, we can wind them right up. I've had mine as far as 7,200 RPM.
So when something like this happens, it is violent. It is incredibly
it's catastrophic.
violent. Yeah.
Anytime you have an internal part come apart, it's catastrophic.
So now when this happens, and again, this is my non-logic of the race car industry, do you hear that thing blow up on you? I mean, obviously, when I'm announcing a race, all of a sudden you see a white tuft of smoke. You pretty much know 9 times out of 10 that motor's gone. Something happened inside that motor, and this is some of the stuff that can happen. Can you hear that thing implode on you?
You actually don't hear the rattle like you would with a normal street car. You hear a rattle, 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 rattle. Then after a while it gets louder, and then something beats it up. With this, all I heard when I come out of 4 was a poof. There was no rattle, no nothing.
No jerk?
No jerk, no nothing. Continued rolling. Actually ran on 3 cylinders till I rolled it into 2, and that's where I stopped. I didn't want to go off the track and cover everything with oil in case.
Right.
Thought maybe I blew an oil filter, which can happen. Wasn't this time. So, but yeah, no rattle, no, just poof.
I think Dan knows more than he's letting on.
I just try to sound stupid every now and then here.
You're just setting us up for a good question.
Well, actually, you guys, I set you up for some good responses, because that was really good, because we don't get a lot of. Last time we had stuff in here on the console, we had cranberries, and this is the first time you've actually got your hands dirty on the show. So now, how quick of a fix is that, though?
We're still in the process. We got it home. Sunday, we all took a day off, basically just relaxed. And then Monday we started in. We got the new motor put together. We're going a different direction with our motor at the moment, but we're hoping to have it in the car tonight and start it. And we've got to have it ready for Friday for racing.
And John Radtke Racing Toma Fridays and Lacrosse Saturdays, Oktoberfest coming up, and any more dirt in the near future?
Probably not this year. I've got my hands so full. I'm 3rd in points in Toma and 12th in points in Lacrosse. I've got to really focus and just try to get to the top.
Well, now you got some great sponsors helping you out here as well, besides John's Bay, which obviously you own in the west side or the south side of Lacrosse, but you got some other sponsors helping you out.
Got some really good sponsors. We got Hunger Peddler, United Auto Parts, Coors Light, South Lanes, Ideal Van Rentals, AMSOIL, Midwest Poker League, and I'm trying to think if I forgot any. I don't think I forgot any. And Image World, and J-Line Design, and Dynamic Concrete.
There you go.
Didn't even have to write them down.
I know.
Usually
Most of the guys have to come in.
all scratch papered and cards, and that was very nice. John Radtke, again, you can see him if you ever want to really get into what he does race car-wise. He's located on the south side. You can find him at Toma. You can find him at Lacrosse Speedway, and really definitely hit up the entire Radtke race team coming up here during Oktoberfest. John, it was a pleasure having you in. Good luck for the rest of the year.
Thanks for having me in.
All right, folks. MississippiThunder.com if you want to find out more about that second leg of the USMTS Chase for the Cup that's coming up Friday night. LacrosseSpeedway.com. Start thinking about Oktoberfest plans, if you're going to be camping or maybe getting into a hotel room or whatnot. That's going to be coming up here before you know it. Also, we've got an Eve of Destruction coming up here with 5 jet cars. I saw it on the outside of the, if you look at the racetrack, you know how Chuck paints up the campers?
Yeah, somebody said there was a bunch of them out there.
Yeah, well, there's one long camper, and it says 5 jet cars and a painting of a jet car out there. How this is going to work, I have no clue. Call the racetrack or check out the website.
Or come to the event.
That's going to be a hot night.
You love that night. Yeah.
5?
Yeah. That's going to be incredible.
Bring the hot dogs and the marshmallows.
Melt the whole place
We're
down.
cooking for everybody. On behalf of John Radtke and Al Losi and Dan Dyke, I want to thank you for joining us. John, you might even have you on the radio show this weekend. We haven't had you on in quite a while. AM 580 WKT Weather Race Report coming up Saturday 1 and 2. Have a great week. We'll see you at your local racetrack. Until then, take care.